Hello everyone and welcome to today's edition of Oracular Fantastical. The card that we're going to be talking about today is from the Oracle of the Shapeshifters deck again. And the card is card number 7, Bats in the Belfry. You can achieve great things. This is the image in the Australian edition and same image in the American. And I think this is really fitting that this was the card that I ended up drawing for today's video because bats have been appearing like quite a bit, not like crazy, but quite a bit around the house because it's getting darker earlier. My husband and I and Vincent are outside more at night as it's getting darker, as opposed to in the summer, you know, when it's still light around 8 and Vincent's already asleep. It's getting darker as we go outside, kind of to say goodnight quite often. And we are seeing bats a lot more. And not only that, but this is a time of year when a lot of us are preparing for Halloween and Samhain, and so we're really, I don't know, bats are like part of the decoration, so they kind of go along with this time of year. And if you're pagan or a witch or anything like that, bats are kind of just a part of your psyche, I guess. So it makes sense that bats appearing today for us right now. And that's really what I want to focus on with this card. Whenever I work with bats in the Belfry, I really focus on the bats and the message. That's what I'm really drawn to in the powerful magic that they have of rebirth and awakening to a very powerful side of yourself. So even though we do have the cathedral here, right, so that does come into play as well, that the change is holy and spiritual if we allow it to be. I really feel like the bats have a big message for us right now with this time of year and drawing this card today. So really the message is talking to us a lot about rebirth and boldness and courage. And this is something that means that we're probably going to be a bit scared right now as we're making huge changes in our lives. The cards in this series have really been kind of pushing us to make big changes and to let go of things that aren't serving us anymore. And so that means that we have to do something new and something that can be very scary to us. And so the bats are telling us whether we want to do it or not, it's going to happen. So do we want to be fluid and work with the change and find the boldness and the strength and power within ourselves? Or are we going to push against it and resist and be afraid? And the Phoenix has just shared with us that this is a time of rebirth. And so the bats are really just bringing us that message doubly strong today, that it really is about boldness and courage. And always this card reminds me of the Hanged Man in tarot. So not only is it talking about the fact that there is a rebirth occurring, but that this is a period where we need to change the way that we're looking at things and realize that our way forward is not the path of least resistance or doing things the way that everyone else does them, or that the people around us may be telling us that we need to do things. Instead, you know, a lot of the Hanged Man's message and Bats in the Belfry's message is that we have to do things very differently, and that we have to seize the day in certain ways, but also be really aware of and in tune with our internal message system and listening to that. So this is a time of great growth and great change still, and we're still in that process. And we're also in the process of allowing the things that need to be let go of to die. And yes, we're aware when we have a hypothetical discussion that this is going to be painful, but when we're actually experiencing this, it can be quite difficult and quite scary. the fact that something has to stop and something has to end or something has to change in order for us to continue on. And so I think Bat is really here with us to tell us that it does have to change, and that we are not alone in the process of the change. We are supported, even if it's just spiritually and there isn't any physical being in this realm supporting us. We're supported infinitely in the other realms and by our divine self in her greater sense, or his greater sense. We're very supported in that way to make these changes. But the fact that they're scary and that they're difficult, Bat doesn't hide that message from us. What Bat does say is, again, we can be fluid with that change or we can resist it. Either way, it's going to happen. It might indeed quite possibly be scary, but it needs to happen. And so I think today is really about kind of drawing a breath and taking the jump off the cliff. Again, if we want to talk about tarot, kind of going along with the Fool card. So it's like when you get Bats in the Belfry, you've drawn the Fool and the Hanged Man together, which is quite an interesting pairing and requires a lot of finesse in the way that we're going to go about knowing what the right next step to take is. But remember that a lot of the right next step to take, or the best next step to take, is about listening to the heart center and listening to the intuition and taking a pause at times and making sure that we really know just what we want to become and to do, and not what others want of us, or taking the easiest way out, because this card's always talking about boldness and courage again. And so it is going to be the thing that probably scares us that we have to do. But it's going to be so very worth it. And we're going to look back on this time and know that a great part of who we are has been made through this experience. And that it was a time of evolvement and change on a large level, but also most importantly on the level within. So be prepared when this card shows up, and be aware that beliefs, thoughts, viewpoints, life situations are going to change. You might be drawn to leave the partner you're with, or to change the job that you have felt for years or for some time that you absolutely had to stay in to take care of others. Instead, you're going to realize that there's a way to change the situation and still be provided for and live up to your commitments. Besides that, again, thought patterns changing, belief patterns changing, our realization of what is spirituality versus what is religion, and what do I want to be aligning myself with. What is okay for me to accept in the people that I've chosen to be in my inner circle around me, and what is not okay, and what boundaries am I going to set? What boundaries do I need to set with certain people? Because remember, everything is a choice. So Bat is telling us that this is a time of change, and we have the ultimate choice as far as, first of all, if the change is easy or not, but also what the choices are that are involved in the change. And so it doesn't perhaps have to mean leaving people or letting people go or leaving work situations. The change can be something within, but quite often it does actually have a physical change as well. And something else that comes up to mind now, talking about the Hanged Man too, is letting go of the martyr aspect. So really stopping the story that we're telling ourselves about ourselves and our life, and changing, completely changing ourselves and not living that story anymore. It's really time to stop being the martyr, which again is why Bat is so perfect for us right now with where we are on the wheel. I mean, we're in that space of death in the wheel, and so it is about letting go and what doesn't serve, and taking a breath and reevaluating, which is a lot of what the number 7 has to tell us as well. And I'm sure why Cavendish chose to have Bats in the Belfry as number 7 in this deck. it is a reevaluation and a gleaning of wisdom, and then it is time to create and sow something new very soon, even though right now we are in that state of darkness and doing the shadow work and going within and finding our own strength where others can't see it and where we probably can't see it. So if you're in a space right now as you're watching this video, or when you find you draw this card in the future, that you're not believing in yourself, you're not trusting yourself, you don't know what to do, you don't know who to listen to, you've kept yourself so busy that you don't have to listen to your soul's voice, and you have so much rhetoric and words and voices going on in your head because you're so busy and you're exhausted, so that you don't have to listen to the soul's voice. This card is telling you that it's really time to listen to the soul's voice, to accept that you're in a cycle of rebirth, as the Phoenix told us over the past week. We really are in that cycle of rebirth, and so that means that change is going to happen and that we have to stop and allow ourselves to be fluid with that change. So I wish you all blessings on your path and blessings through the changes, and blessings that the growth is beautiful and is something that you are able to see is molding you into an amazing and truly divine being. I'm sure that you all feel the changes and the shifts that are occurring in the universe right now, that are about to occur, and that are occurring within ourselves. You can feel that we're all in that inhale before the exhale, and that there's going to be large shifts. And so I wish you all safe journeys right now, especially as we do our shadow work right now in autumn, and we feel ourselves preparing to let go of what doesn't serve us anymore. It's again, powerful time, and it's a time when boldness and courage is called for, and the beauty of our spirit truly shines as we realize just how strong and powerful and courageous we are. So, I will see you all in the next video in the Oracular Fantastical series. There will also be a video in the Intro to Stone series up this week as well, so be looking for that. Wishing you all a blessed autumn, and thank you for watching.